This is Salim from Cohort 4. I'd like to showcase my attempt at Challenge 3, which is described in this document. Briefly, Challenge 3 requires us to develop a secure RESTful API. For this challenge, for my data models, I decided to go with the idea of a recipe management system. So this system contains users, recipes, ingredients, and instructions. So without further ado, our demonstration. So this is my terminal setup. This is my shell where I interact with my models. In case I want to query the various model attributes at the ORM layer, this is what I use. This is my app server, so I start it. This is my PSQL window. PSQL is my preferred client to the PostgreSQL relational database. This window here is for quick commands, for example, running tests and stuff like that. A quick look at my tables, the ones in my database. I have a users table with its ID sequence, recipes, instructions, and ingredients. So in order for somebody to use this service, they have to first of all create an account. So if you look at our database, if we try to select, for example, select from users, we see that there is no user. Same thing for recipes, no recipes yet. Instructions, none. Ingredients. So our database is in a pristine state. Now, in order for somebody to interact with the API, they first of all have to create a user account. The API endpoint for the user account is this, the base API endpoint /users. So to create a user account, we post to this. The body will be a JSON encoded string, application JSON. Just look at the user model. User model requires a first name, last name, username, email, and password. So we go here and we specify those. Username, first name, John, last name, Smith, username, J. Smith, email, J. Smith. I need to put this J. Smith at spice.com. Passwords. We don't need any headers. So create. So it says 201, and if we try to go to the database and look at users now, we see that let's first make this preview. we see that we have a user John Smith with the details we provided. The auth token is generated as the user is being created. We don't need to supply it. So the user needs to log in, need to post to the endpoint for login is that, post to login. Login requires an email and a password, so we get rid of these. Still, there's nothing in our header. So we do a post. This returns a token. Now, this token is what we use for all the subsequent requests to the API. So, for example, to create a recipe, we post to recipes. Let's see what's required in recipe. So a recipe requires a user ID, title, description, and a field code for fields. Go here. The user ID of a recipe has to be existent in a database. So we go take a peek here. User ID is 21. We assign 21. Title. This is John's. Smith has ever prepared this meal. We're missing any fields. User ID, title, description of the field. So we need to add the auth token. So authorization token. So we have authorization, we have this, let's create, it says created, so we can go ahead and get recipes. Let's create another one. Recipes, body, user ID stays the same. John's second recipe. This is some recipe. There's also card, but he's never prepared a meal, so false. Let's create. It's created. So when we do a get, we should see 2 recipes. And so recipes are scoped to users. So this token belongs to John Smith, and since he's the one who created these recipes, he's able to have access to them. So if we go ahead and create a new user, let's see. sketch so address should be empty. JSON create. So we need to log her in to get our token. This is Martina's token. So let's create for her a recipe. Recipes body. User ID. Let's look for Martina's ID. 22. User ID, tag descriptions, that's required. So we need to set this header in order for it to be associated with our organization. So it's created. Now if we view recipes with Martina's header, we should see only one. Get recipes, send, only one. Whereas if we try to get recipes with John's credentials, which is this. Get recipes, some commands, but different headers should give us the two that belong to John Smith and that. So let's look at instruction creation, because recipes are made of instructions. An instruction is basically the bullet points that give directions on how to prepare a meal. For example, add this amount of salt, simmer for this amount of seconds, that sort of thing. So let's try and create instructions for this recipe, John's first recipe. So body. The instruction requires a recipe ID, title, and a description. The recipe ID has to be existent. Jones again, Jones first. ID is 21. So 21. Title. Alright, so we're creating an instruction for this recipe. Let's check it for the owner. That recipe. Jen's first recipe, user ID 7. Who's user ID 7? User ID 21. It's 21. John. Ends in CD3. Yeah, so the auth checks out. Back request. The recipe attached to the instruction. We try to attach a recipe that's not in our database. Body recipe ID is 21. Recipes 7. So 7. Send. Created. Now if we get instructions, we should be able to see the first one. And we see this because it's scoped to us. If we were to request this with a different token, it shouldn't work. What was here? What else is going to be demonstrated? Oh, we can edit a recipe. So let me see what recipe to look for. Recipes, I think. So that 7 exists. Yeah. So to edit a recipe, we send a patch command to that individual recipe's URL, and then in the body we specify the attribute that we'd like to change. We don't need this, so title, add 4 tablespoonfuls of sugar, and star. We don't need this for now. So let's try to send this request. The response is the new status of the resource, and we can see that our change is here. So that's a demonstration of editing. We have pagination. Let's see how many. Let's see, get users. We have 2 users, so we can say limit should get only one result. 2 goes back to 2. If we had more, would so basically to paginate the results returned by the user list endpoint, all we have to do is supply the limit parameter. That's a demonstration of pagination. Searching. So how am I implementing searching? Search users. So we go to search users. So we go to search, Q equals, so users are searched by name. So all we need to do is enter a search term, but the assumption would be that it's searching against the name, and the name includes first name, last name, and username. So we have John Smith. We have Martina, so we can enter something like Mart. This should return a result at least. That's Martina. If we want John, we can enter something like that for Smith, and we have John's record returned. So that's the search functionality. So the other bit is demonstrating deletion. We can get rid of a user, and the way to do that is go to the particular user, users. Do I have 2? I think I have 21. But to delete a user, let's try to attempt to delete a user that is not us. User ID is 21. Who is 21? 21 is 21 is John with this, but instead let's delete using this token. So delete users 21 token. This should fail. The user can only delete their own user record. So since this token does not belong to 21, that request is denied. And when you go back to the users table, you can see that the user 21 still exists. So in order to be able to delete them, we have to be 21 themselves with the credentials. There's nothing in the body, it's just a vector. So the user is deleted, and if we go back to users, they shouldn't exist. We only have one user. It's also important to note that once a user is deleted, it cascades, so the user goes with all their resources. Their recipes, instructions, we should see a decrease in the recipes, for example. This time recipes has one item, yet from up we could see that when we first queried for recipes, select all from users, need recipes, come on. Select all from users. Cancel my old recipe list. But yeah, basically when a user is deleted, the recipes go away. Perhaps to demonstrate that, do you have any recipes left? One, and it belongs to user 22. So if we delete 22, 22 with the appropriate headers. Send. So it's done, and when we query recipes again, there are no more recipes, and since we just deleted the user, the last user, there are no more users. So that's basically how the API works.